Hear me out, hear me out. Let me just get this off my chest. Welcome to Her Diary Out Loud with Danny Royal, where my journey does not define me, but it defies the barriers of caring about what other people think. One real life experience at a time, my story, my way. I mean, it's better out than in, right?
It's so easy to hide. It's so easy to hide behind who people see you as, what you're used to seeing yourself as. Do you even know who you are anymore? Do you know what you were called to do here on this earth outside of the roles that you play? You may be a mother. You may be a sister. You may be a daughter, a friend. You may even be a workaholic. Shoot. Or even a child of God. But outside of those things, do you know who you are? Do you know what your purpose is? It's easy to hide behind the image of someone else, or even the mask of who people expect you to be, and not the reality of who God has called you to be. You've become complacent. You have become content with being in the background because you're used to doing things this way. I mean, your whole life has been a masquerade. Maybe you've even compartmentalized because you've been oppressed, so you suppress things in your mind, your heart, and in your spirit. And so you've forgotten about all those things that you used to want to be and used to want to do. And now it's like, oh, I don't even know anymore. If somebody asks you, who are you? Can you identify with knowing who you are? Can you identify with knowing what you're called to? Or can you just give me a role? Can you give me what you like about yourself, what you love about yourself, things that you like to do? Are you so disconnected from who you are that you have to tap in again? Yes, I said tap in again. And to tap in again, it simply means that you have to go back and do some transforming, do some homework on giving yourself the opportunity to live. You've been in survival mode. You've been in people-pleasing mode. You've been in sit in the back, take the back seat role. But God is trying to do something through you. He's ready to push you forward. He's ready to push you forward to the front. Why? Because it's time for you to take the mask off. It's time for you to get clear on who it is that you want to be, what it is that you want to do. No, I don't mean beat around the bush. I mean to have clear vision and knowing that he that's begun a great work in you, he shall perform it even until the day he comes back. I mean, he's trying to cultivate you and get you to understand that he knew you from the beginning. He knew you before you were created in your mother's womb to be all that he's called you to be. He's trying to get you to acknowledge that you are a royal priesthood. You come from a holy nation. You are the exception to the rule. I mean, especially if you know him, because you're his child. And there is something on the inside of you that must come out, that the world must see. Why? Because you have so much to give. But because you're so used to hiding, you're okay with being in the background. You're okay of covering who you are up with every role that you've played in your lifetime. Some roles may be good, and then some roles may even be bad. You may live your identity through your pain and hurt and sorrow from what it is that you've experienced. What you've experienced from church hurt, work hurt, family hurt, relational hurt from being in a marriage that didn't serve you well. There's so many things that I could say in this moment. But it's time to tell your story. It's time to be all that you've been created to be for a time such as this. While everybody else is doing their own thing, or maybe while everybody else is rising to the occasion, did you think that God forgot about you? Oh, absolutely not. Just because you had that mask on, let me remind you that He sees and He knows all. You can't hide from God. And one thing that He'll do is take you through, stretch you, prune you, separate you, so that you can understand your true identity. He'll have you identifying that the self you were selfing wasn't the self that He had created you to be. It's time to not just be selfish, because you've given so much of yourself to so many people and so many things. But it's time for you to be self-full. That's how you take the mask off. Maybe you don't know your purpose or your calling. It is time for you to say, God, what did you have me here to do? What did you have me here for? I remember going through a moment in time. I'm a very young person. 34, I would say, is still pretty young. Shout out to all of my older women that look so good in their 50s and 60s and even their 70s. You ladies are doing the daggone thing. But I can recall a time and a season in my life where I felt like I was somebody when I was able to give up my body. Now, not just to anybody, but to the person that I was with. But then after a while, I recognized, I'm like, man, there's so much more to me than just what I can give you. And I was giving away parts of me that wasn't even deserved by men. Wasn't even deserved. And it's just like, wow, sis, you really did that. I got married at the age of 18. From that marriage came 4 boys. In that marriage, I got cheated on over and over and over again. I had heard so many stories, whether he knew or not. And honestly, if I was being true to myself and honest with myself, I should have never gotten married in the first place. Now, everybody's story is different. But for me, I had a panic attack the night before my wedding. When I say I had people calling and calling and calling and calling this man throughout the whole week, leading all the way up until our wedding day. One female called to say, hey, I was just calling to see if you were really getting married. Wow. Then I had one person that he was connected to that was connected to one of his exes, and she was trying to get her to show up to the wedding. trying to rekindle old flames. These things I tried to keep to myself. But bottling all those things up inside was just masking the true reality that, sis, you know you shouldn't be doing this, right? But I proceeded anyway because I felt like love wins, and maybe I could change them at the time. Not to mention, I also was wearing the mask of a believer. Now, no, let me rephrase that. Because you can believe, have moral standards and principles and boundaries that are healthy. But I literally was just in a phase and stage where I had to grow and mature in many ways outside of just having children and being a wife. After a while, I was hiding behind the identity of church folk, churchgoers, because I didn't want to let people down that were close to me. And I didn't want to let God down. And I didn't want to be out of order continually, meaning give my body to someone who didn't deserve it. And so I became a wife. I am not just wearing one mask, but I'm now wearing two masks. And those two masks that I was wearing became 3 masks and 4 masks, because now I'm masking behind mothering. And I'm masking behind being a church girl. I'm masking behind the reality of, I know I'm not supposed to be married, but I'm still here because I love him. And so that did a number on me. When you live for other people and through other people's lenses and not for your own, not for yourself, after putting on all those masks, you begin to lose who you really are. I mean, it took a long time. Not only was I dealing with the mask, I was dealing with psychological and spiritual warfare. Warfare that I had no clue of. I mean, the very beginning of that situation was a mess. Number 1, I was young. Number 2, the proposal wasn't even a proposal. I mean, this man took his sister's ring and gave me the ring and basically said, you know what this is, in front of a few friends. And I'm like, is that a proposal? But at the time, I accepted it, not understanding, like, girl, you deserve the world. You deserve a proposal out of this world. Shoot, you deserve a faithful man. But I settled for safe because I was locked into the identities of other things that had cultivated my outlook and that had shaped my vision. All because I wasn't tapped into who I really was. And I had been a church girl all my life. Through time, it let me know you could go to church as long as you like, but that doesn't mean that you have a true understanding or even a relationship. Outside of the tradition and outside of what the norms are of church and the expectations of what church looks like, there's a deeper spiritual connection that must be had. And that's that relationship with Christ that goes far and beyond your expectation, where he reads you, but then he loves you all at once, where the scriptures read you up and down, and it cuts you sharper than any two-edged sword, but then it puts you back together all at the same time. I was wearing masks that I didn't know how to take off. And it took being broken and separation and being humiliated and going through all these things for me to not even get it right away. Because then I ended up in cycles that I felt like I couldn't get myself out of. Truth be told, I could. I remember judging other people based off of certain situations because I'm like, oh, that's not of God. I remember walking in pride because I didn't want any help, because I didn't want to feel like I was a burden to someone. I remember going through the journey with support, but really, I was still far away. I was still far away from who I was. I remember there was a lady, before I ever even had children. She blessed me with an elephant necklace at a church that I was going to. And one of the things she said, never lose your smile. And I didn't understand what she meant exactly by that, because I felt like life was good. But then later on, life hit me like a ton of bricks. And I understood why she said never lose your smile. Because life has a way of getting you far off track because of your choices and decisions and things that you feel like you can change or can't change. And literally, it'll keep you stuck in psychological locks that you should have been gotten out of. And so here I am. I find myself now knowing who I am better than I ever have, but I got caught up in another situation that I shouldn't have been in. And then I began to put on the mask of shame because I know God. I know who God is. I am a mom. I am a nurturer. I am a good person. I'm not my story. I don't look like my storm by the grace of God, but did I really learn the lesson? Did I really take all those masks off? Or was I still at a masquerade? Prancing around thinking that no one would see. Not realizing that it's not that other people are the issue, that the true issue is really me. I began to dive into my word. Most recently, I began to talk to God. I remember one day specifically I had communion, and he just let me know that he would redeem the time. He would let me know that I was free from that Egypt that tried to hold me bound. That Egypt that was masking my reality because of cycles and situations that didn't serve me well. And he let me know that redemption was here for me. Right in the comfort of my own home. And then, of course, the enemy likes to tackle your mind with his little tricks and things that he tries to do from day to day. And for a moment, I almost got discouraged to the point where I said, I'm not going to speak. I don't even want to speak anymore. I think I'm going to give the church thing a break. I think I just want to distance myself because I'm tired of you're there for some people one way and the expectation of you needing them when you need them, they're not there the same. I went through that for a moment. And God began to show me things. And he let me know to keep trusting him because he was with me. I am a minister at my church. And I fell. I fell again. This is how I ended up with my 8th child. This is what almost made me put back on the mask of shame, the silent assassin. And the other day I went to our church service. Not too many people asked questions about if I was pregnant or not, but after a while, truth be told, is you can't hide it. Now, I wasn't trying to hide it, but I didn't want to ask questions because I felt like, oh, that's none of your business, right? And it wasn't. But let me tell you how I got called out. I got called out by God specifically. The speaker of the hour asked, is there any pregnant women in here? And guess what? I was the only one. And so I came forth. And God put me on display. And He covered the child in my womb. And He spoke life into the child and said what the child would do and be in this nation, in this world, on this side of life. And then He covered my pregnancy along with my birthing process, that I shall come out with a healthy baby, and the process of giving birth to him would be smooth. I could have not had this child and went forward, and I was just like, wow. He prayed for me. And let me tell you, all I could think about when I walked back to my seat was going in the bathroom and falling on my knees in pure surrender and saying, God, thank you for hearing my prayers. And thank you for seeing me because I decided to choose life. Then that would have been another mask that I would have been wearing to appease somebody else's personal needs because they didn't want the child in this world because we weren't together. No, I had to own up to the responsibility of putting myself in that place because I was vulnerable and I was looking for family where my son could have both his parents, and that's not what he wanted. He wanted something more. I just wanted to be that from a friend's perspective, and ended up being more intimate than I should have been. And because of that almost made me wear the mask of shame. That almost put me in a place where I just didn't want to anymore. And I'm so glad that God's grace is sufficient, because He literally will leave the 99 to go after the one. And oh, I've been the one many a times. And I'm okay with that. Especially now, because I know that all things work together for the good. And I knew it back then. But it's different when God takes you through it and seasons change in your life. And oh, how seasons can change. I urge you to do a daily diary dump. And in your daily diary dump, I want you to start off with, I release. I want you to start off with, I release everything that does not serve me for my highest good. And I also release the things that people have attached me to that I never wanted to identify with in the first place. And then just let the words flow. Just let the words flow on the paper. And see how free you become. Because sometimes you just got to get it out. And sometimes you can't get out what you're not aware of. It's time to go deeper. Not later, but right now. If you've liked this episode, be sure to connect with us on all of our social media platforms We're on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and now Patreon. Join our global sister circle and chat where we can connect all around the world and dive deeper into some of these topics and conversations. If you have an anonymous story that you may want on our podcast, be sure to email us at feminineandfit03. That's feminine, A-N-D, fit03 at gmail.com. Let us know how we're doing. Tell a friend to pull up. And remember, you're not just spiritually fit, physically fit, or financially fit, but you are feminine and fit. Bye.